Hello there, and we are live. See ya, ladies and gentlemen. See, it's the big one, yeah. See, it's Real Talk season finale, and I'm with. See, yeah, this is the big one. I just have to repeat this, yeah. I'm one of the guys I do respect on this space, yeah. He's a legend in this space right here. Uh, he's a father figure to me. When I started this show, uh, you know, I knocked on his door and he opened his door. He said, "Anthony, I'm going to come to your show." He didn't know me. He didn't know anything about me. He brought me to the fold. That's the kind of person this person is. We're very glad to celebrate him. A day ago, he just celebrated his birthday, and we pray for more happiness and more grace to this man. Jess Collins is in the house, guys. Boo, boo, boo. Jess Collins in the house. Jess, you're welcome to the show, my brother.
Thank you for inviting me on again, Tony. Always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure. You put great content out there. And to be on with Matt as well, the legend himself. And good to be here, mate. I'm looking forward to the show.
Yeah. See, guys, this guy needs no other introduction. Yeah, it's my brother from the southern side of America. Yeah, guys, see, give it up, yeah, for Matt Odom of the Southern Gunner channel, bro. Poo, poo, poo. God is in the house.
Hey man, good to be here. Always fun to be with you, Tony. You know, you and Jazz, especially Jazz. This is like I was looking forward to this so much when you reached out to me yesterday. I was like, oh, this is gonna be really fun. So I rushed home and I was like, let me hurry up and get home and get on this panel.
Exactly, man. The Oregon Gunner was supposed to join us, but I felt he was going to have a show with our other friend. For the American Idiot show. So I didn't want to really put so much pressure on him. So, he's out, but he'll be joining us on Sunday. See, this is the season review. Jess Collins, give us a breakdown of how the season went. When I started this show, and I called you to the show, you saw how how high I was, how I talked up this team and everything. You were one of the persons, that really told me, Anthony, you accepted what I had to say. You didn't tell me, hey, shut up. That's one thing about you. But you did tell me, hey, Anthony, you have to, minimize the way you actually talk up this title talk. You didn't really believe it, and the truth is, Jess told me so. Jess, just tell me how you told me so. Breakdown of the season.
Well, the thing is, Tony, is we were all, it was a great start. Let's put it out there. Top of the league all the way up to the start of the World Cup, the Mad World Cup, which I think was absolute nonsense holding it in the middle of the season. But there we are. That's FIFA for you. But the problem is, mate, I've seen this too many times before over the years. We did it when we were 10 points clear of Man United in 03. And we basically, that team, and that was a fantastic football team we had then, but they started to do stupid things, showboating. The classic was the one that started it, away at Bolton Wanderers, 2-0 up, absolutely crucifying Bolton. And then we just started to, like it was a training game. And we lost 3-2. And that's when it all started to go wrong. And then all of a sudden, Man United are on our heels, and we lost, came second. So when we started out this season, it was great. I loved it. It's brilliant. But I had my doubts. I mean, the only reason I had doubts, Tony, was the lack of depth in the squad. I called it from the start of the season. We haven't got the depth. And sadly, I was proven right. And we haven't got a manager that is able tactically to change it up. He does substitutions at the wrong time. He continually plays the same tactics week in, week out. When you come up against the big boys out there, you're going to be found out. And we were. And that was it. End of story. For a great show. Great show.
See, Matt Odom, you've just heard Jez, touch on that area about the season, yeah? Do you agree with Jez? And of course, you have to agree with him. The proof is in the pudding. We didn't win the title.
Yeah, you already know how I feel. In fact, we hadn't won a title this season. It was a complete failure. I've been using the phrase, and I'm going to continue to use this phrase. It was improvement, but not impressive at all. I mean, we started out the season great. I was looking at a chart this morning. Somebody put up the win-loss for the season, and I'm gonna tell you, it was a loss there against United and a draw against Southampton. I think that's what I saw there.
Yeah,
that doomed us. When you look at, I always tell people you always have to be cognizant of the first half of the season, because the first half of the season can get you in the back half of the season.
Yeah,
and had we get a draw, something different, we maybe had a different discussion. This is why each game is important. The latter half of the season, we sat here and we talked in at length about these transfers, and I told you, I said this transfer window does not get done right, it's going to come back and get us, and it came back and got us. Mikel Arteta's inexperience again came back and got us. You have to say again because that's 3 years running of the same thing. And at the end of the year, you've got people saying this was a successful season, which I'll get into more of that. We'll get into more of that a little later on. But I just this season hurt me to work.
It was Glastonbury down there at the end of the season, at the last game when we beat these guys 5-0, Wolves 5-0. It was like Glastonbury, in the stadium. Everyone was celebrating. It was a touchy-feely moment. And, I was like, wow, did we just win the goddamn title?
Yeah. I mean, well, see, Tony, the thing about it was, and it was funny to watch your morph, because from where you were when we first met each other to where you are now, it's like, oh well, at least somebody sees that this was not successful this year. At least I feel a little bit better knowing that I'm not the crazy one over here. Or me and Jez, because we've been saying it. Me and Jez, I know for a fact, have been saying it for the last 3 months that we were on thin ice coming down the stretch, and we wanted the team to win, we wanted the team to do well, but the same old problem showed up again this season, and that's what the moral of the story is going to be when we look back at this a year or two from now. The same old problems we had before showed up again.
See, Jez, yeah, of course, you've just given us a rundown of how you felt that season went. But Jez, yeah, at what point, because we're doing quite well from the get-go. We started winning games from the get-go. Yeah, Gabriel Jesus was up on his feet. It was, even if he wasn't scoring goals, it was in and about, trying to create those moments of magic, even if he was not scoring in those goals. Thomas Partey was okay. The team spirit was okay. Jez, where did it all go wrong for you this season? At what point did you say, because Arsenal was winning, so we can't really say, this season is going to be garbage, because the wins were there. The proof was there. The points were there. Jez, at what point did you say, I'm not really convinced about this, guys. I'm not convinced. At what point did you say that to yourself, Jez, this season?
The first time I said this was losing 3-1 away at Man United. We were in control. We were looking to get maybe a point, which is not a bad result at Old Trafford. But when you actually look at that team, Man United this season, they weren't great. They weren't a classic team. But the problem there, we played a high line far too long. And they came at us. Arteta did stupid tactical change and stupid, way too late substitutions. And bing, bang, they scored 2 very quick goals, game over. And that was the first turn of the knife.
Hmm.
And our loss, Everton. And you can also put it down, as Matt's just said. We drew 2 games against a team that got relegated, Southampton. If you're going to win the Premier League, you don't lose to a team. Sorry, you don't draw 2 games to a team that were going to get relegated. That's just ridiculous. Again, poor tactics from, and let's get it right. We were 2-0 down to Southampton at home. We tore it back to 2-1, then it's 3-1. We get it back to 3-all. I mean, come on. I mean, that is just shambolic. You do not win Premier Leagues drawing games like that to teams that are going to be out of the league. And I blame it on not just Arteta. I praised Arteta this season. And
You did that. I totally agree with you. You did that. Jez gave praises this season to Mikel Arteta when the praises were due. I do remember that. I do remember that, Jez.
I also gave great credence to Granit Xhaka. I can't stand the bloke. I don't know him personally. The only reason I don't like him is the fact he disrespected the fan base at Palace. He disrespected the badge. He disrespected the club. And I said last night on my show, we had a great little midfielder in Guendouzi who got booted out of the club because of his play acting at Brighton away. Okay, I don't agree with what players do like that. But I'm sorry, Granit Xhaka did far bloody worse at Crystal Palace when he told the fans to do that, throws the captain's armband on the floor, rips off his shirt. He should have been out the gate. He should have been out of the club. I'm sorry. Yet all of a sudden there's a love fest that he's possibly leaving the club. Well, go, mate. Your time is done. Go. I'm if your wife wants to go back to Germany, then just go. Because I don't want you here. This is the ideal time right now to go and get James Maddison from Leicester City. If we went in with the money, he'll come because he wants Premier League football and he wants Champions League. Fact. But will we do it? No, because Edu will pontificate. He will just like piss ass around. And so I'm not going to put all the blame on Arteta, Tony.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things behind the scenes that have not helped him. Edu didn't do the business he should have done. He could have
January.
He could have done. Didn't do it. He messed about with stupid prices. I'm glad we didn't get Mudryk, personally. I'm glad, because I don't think he's worth that sort of money. So we move on. We move on again. And what we're going to do this summer, probably not enough. There you go.
See, Matt Odom, you just have to agree with Jess on this, He laid out that blueprint quite well for us to see. It's a holistic problem. It's not even just on Mikel Arteta. Of course, he showed his inexperience, but it's a total lose fest from the top down, right?
Yep, from the top down. It starts from the top, starts from the Cronkies down to Edu, down to Mikel Arteta. I always say if you get rid of one, you got to get rid of all of them because it's a three-headed hydra. Yeah, I'm telling you, when you look, I saw somebody in the chat there. Somebody was asking, they were saying, let me scroll back up. It was saying that what would you have predicted? What would you predict before the season started? And that's the new narrative. That is going to be the narrative. In that narrative, I am slaying to the sword. I don't want to hear anything about second place when we were at the top 248 days. I don't hear anything about that. I don't hear anything about the start of the season. Oh, you don't know. It changes week by week. Week by week. We sat at the top, Tony, for a whole first half of the season. If you in your mind was not thinking challenging for a title, then you need to go to the moon, because we were at the top. This is, and I'm gonna have to plug my show Sunday. This is what we're gonna talk about Sunday. Too many delusional fans in the fan base. We have gotten to the point where we take off. We don't look at the facts. The facts are this. This is what I know for sure. We were at the top for 248 days, Tony. We had a January transfer window that we sat on the panel for almost 3 hours and watched the transfer window. We got chicken crap for transfers. We got Trossard, we got Jorginho, who I didn't realize until I talked to Lee yesterday. And Lee told me, he said, Matt, do you realize that Jorginho, we got him on 6 months and we paid $12 million and he had 6 months left on his deal? And I said, that didn't even make fiscal sense. But that's what we did in January. Pick Kivior. We get Kivior. That's the signing that we should be talking about getting done in the summer. He should have been coming over in July. We should have been going out getting quality players. All of this gets lost. We have been mistreated so much as Arsenal fans. We have been down in the dumps for the last several years to just a piece, Tony, just a piece of success overrides everything that's wrong. And this is how you repeat the process over and over and over, Tony.
But again, it's second success in any way. I don't think.
No, it's not.
Success. It's progress, but it's not success. Yeah.
You know what the difference is, Tony?
But that narrative that it was a successful season. It was progress for sure, but it wasn't successful. Success for me is winning trophies. You have to show. That you have something in the cabinet. Jez, yeah. I want to pick you on this one. Yeah. We were going quite well in the league, yeah. But the domestic titles, that's the one that really hit me deep this season. Yeah. At least Arsenal is that club that used to give the FA Cup a go. Yeah. Were the record holders of that title, right? We didn't get anywhere down there. Yeah. In the Carabao Cup, we just gave it away. And now Manchester United, as bad as their season was this season, yeah, these guys have a chance of winning a double this season in the FA Cup and in the Carabao Cup. We call it that Carabao Cup, the Mickey Mouse Cup. But Jez, do you think you would have wished to win the Mickey Mouse Cup this season?
I think I have to put it this way. I want to win every trophy. That is ambition. If we enter a competition, then I expect us to challenge. Now, I know it's probably a silly statement to say that we win everything, because that never happened. But at least give it a go. We lost at home to Brighton in the carrier bag. I call it the carrier bag cup, but we lost at home, and we again just threw away the FA Cup. My favourite cup competition, because I love it. I grew up with it. There was years ago. Kenny Ken will tell you that it used to start at like 10 in the morning. They'd be tracking the team and all this and all that, and I used to love it. And unfortunately, we don't get that now. But we have won the FA Cup more than any other team in England. We've been in more FA Cup finals than any other team in England, and we've been in more. Can you believe this? More semi-finals than any other team in England. So the fact remains is we just capitulate. The Europa League, Sporting Lisbon. I mean, come on, please. I'm sorry. It is purely and simply we don't have the depth to challenge on all fronts. He went all out for the Premier League, and I respect that. Fair play. But behind the scenes, Arsenal Football Club are rotten to the core because they do not invest. And who's to blame for that? Who is to blame? Well, I blame the management, the board. I blame the board. I'm not necessarily going to put the Cronkies online here, because if Edu and Garlic Head and that lot go to the Cronkies and say we need 250 million, let's be honest, pretty much most of the time they say okay. They do. I don't believe there's ever been any point in time where they have said no. Arsenal is a very, very rich football club. Very rich. One of the only football clubs in the Premier League who are actually in the black. Man United are deep in the red. Their debts are horrendous. Liverpool aren't a particularly rich club, but they do decent business. No point in talking about Man City because they've got ridiculous amounts of money. Newcastle are going to come into the fray. But Arsenal Football Club, we just buy rubbish. We go in and do stupid bids when we know a player wants to come. I mean, before I shut up, the price that's been advertised for Declan Rice, 100 million. He is never, ever close to be worth that money. And Arsenal, I hope, would never pay that money. To me, he's a 55 million pound player.
But just that's the market at this time. That's what we see at this time. If Modric is costing 80 million, then West Ham will be big fools to give up one of their most charismatic players that they've got in the last 10 years.
So Tony,
and give him up for 80 or 50 million. They'll be big fools to do that.
So
don't
Tony,
you think, Jess?
So by that logic, Tony, and I'm sure this will come up. By that logic, that means that if we're selling Kieran Tierney, let's talk about Kieran Tierney, that means he's a $45 million player.
Absolutely. I would say that. But the problem is, Tony, Matt, I mean, the problem is, if a club values a player, let's talk about Rice, £100 million, right?
Yeah.
And you go in and respectfully, you go in and say, well, actually, we don't think he's worth that. We'll give you 55. West Ham are going to say no. Right. Okay. So the agents must be talking to each other and saying, well, look, let's be sensible about this. If you really want to leave West Ham and go to Arsenal, although apparently he's reportedly talking to Bayern Munich. So you have to be sensible about this and say, right, we just don't think you're worth 100 million. So we're not going to pay for you. So we're not going to bid. Don't waste your time, Edu, pontificating and saying, well, we want you, but we're only going to give you 55. West Ham are going to say, no, sod off, we want 100. Okay, fair enough. We'll go look somewhere else. Don't spend all summer piss-arsing around saying, well, we want you, we want you, we bid that, we bid this, we bid that, we bid this. And it goes somewhere else. You know, if it's a simple thing in life. If you want something and the price is too high, you say, okay, I'll move on, I'll go elsewhere. But not Arsenal. Arsenal will sit there throwing in cheap bids. Oh, well, all right, we'll go to 60 million. I would go to 62.5 million. Well, you know you're not going to get him. Move on. There's a lot of players out there. Move on. But not Arsenal.
Of course, I do get that. But again, Rice has been the number one talked about signing at least since mid-season, for us to bring him to the football club. If we don't go get him, that'll be a big blow to Arsenal, yeah? If another rival team go in and put the money up and get this guy, it will be a big blow for Arsenal. And even down here, look at what MEFC Global is saying in the charts. You man need to be ambitious in the summer window. There's the news that Chelsea are 100% in for Caicedo, and that's the type of player you lot need. Yeah, I was expecting quick fire movement in the transfer window. Arsenal haven't done that. Yeah, Asensio was in the news for Arsenal to go get him, but just this week, PSG sealed the deal. Tap. There's something in England. There's an advert, yeah, in England, yeah. Tap, boom. Like just quick, and the signing is done. PSG have done that for Asensio. Why can't Arsenal seem to just close this deal up? My Adam, what is the problem? What is wrong with the guys closing in the deals for us? Just this morning, I was hearing about Arsenal going for the Leeds player Noto. I don't want that guy near my football club. I'm sorry. There are many great wingers around, like Sadio Mane down there in Bayern Munich. Gnabry wants to come back to Arsenal. See, what is wrong with our scouts? What's wrong with our scouting system? Arsenal needs to have the best scouting system in the league at the time. You know, what's happening, Adam? Just talk to us.
Edu, man.
Sorry, Matt. You've got to remember, all the scouts got sacked during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It cut everybody out, and then you got Edu. Now you got Edu doing all of the business. I mean, we know
Darren says we don't have any scouts. Darren in the chat.
Yeah.
He says we don't have any scouts.
We don't have any. No.
Adam, what you have to say?
No scouts. Edu is running the show. Haggling, you know how that goes. You know our word. Haggling. Yep. You know, they told that lie. They said, "Well, we're going to." Declan Rice is giving us his word. If he gave y'all his word, they should have announced last weekend at the end of the season. It should have been that Declan Rice is finalizing his deals to come to Arsenal. That's what we should have been hearing this week. Instead, just like Jez said, first thing you heard Tuesday, Bayern Munich. First thing you heard Tuesday, Bayern Munich. Liverpool, they're doing that business. Real Madrid's finishing up. That's finished up what they need to finish up. PSG is in there getting it done. They say United's got a defender on the way. And Arsenal, we're sitting right here sitting on our hands. Now, this is what I'm afraid of. The more I sat around this week, and I've done some stewing. Of course, we're going to do our show next week. But I've sat around and I've done some stewing. And I'm starting to look. I'm starting to see familiar sights. You know, when you travel a place back and forth a lot, you know the roads, you've seen the restaurants, you know what's over there before you get there. Well, I'm starting to feel like familiar places again, fellas. I feel like this brass is going to sell. We're going to end up with about 3 players at most. We need 8. We need 8. We need 8.
We need 10 players are going off the club. We need about 10. We need 10 this season.
Zinchenko, they're going to sell Tierney. Tierney's going to get sold. This is fact. He's going to get sold. And they're going to put Zinchenko in that role. And JS, me and you talked about this the other day. And I'm mighty afraid me and you both were right about this. That this Kivior left back deal is going to be the new left back that's going to be over there in places where Tierney is. The club released a video this afternoon. I don't know if y'all saw it. It's about explaining the inverted left back. So for them to release a video saying it's trying to explain what they're doing, then that tells me that one, Tierney's out the door, and they're going to experiment with Kivior. We don't need any more experimentations, y'all. We've been dealing with this for 4 years. This year is put up or shut up time. All of the excuses, all of the stuff, the transfer window. Yeah, I'm telling you now, the fans have got to start speaking up about this. This doesn't make any sense that we, as Jed stated, we pontificate and lollygag, as we said down south, lollygag, and just I had to catch myself. to catch myself because I'm thinking I'm talking to you. I'm thinking I'm talking to you on the phone. I had to go, but we just screw off and just we waste time. We waste time on players that we're not really interested in. Move on. Okay, well, you put the bid in. You put they want 100 million. If you want to try to go for 90, put 90 up at the top. See what they say. And then move on. It's like Calcedo. We put the $75 million bid in. We know this. This is fact. We put the bid in for Kivi for Salcedo. We did that. Yeah, we put that in. So we know that the club has 75 million. We do know. We do know that $75 million to spend. So if that's the case, then sell somebody, make up the difference, and go buy the player. It's no excuse. See, this club likes to play smoke and mirrors with the fan base. They love playing smoke and mirrors. So they'll make you think they're doing something all the while they're not doing anything. I mean, a big you're supposed to be hyping up this United States trip. Well, you know how our PR machine works. So where are the players at? You got to sell the tickets.
Of course, we're talking about the PR machine, yeah? The PR machine in full effect in the last game against Wolves. See, we'll get down to that. But Jez, I want to pick you on this one, yeah? Arsenal now have Champions League football, the big fish. Yeah, it has eluded us for about six seasons, yeah? We're back in it. It's the big fish. There's no bigger fish than this one. We need oil to fry the fish. Not like this season where we were in a dog fight, yeah, and we didn't even have oil. We didn't have a sword. We didn't have the oil. We didn't have the knives. My brother, my Adam, would say we didn't have the seasoning. We didn't have the seasoning to even, try and put it in the fish. Jez, we have Champions League football. Why are we not attracting the best of players? Right? Because this club have told us, that's why they broke up Highbury, right? They broke it to the ground, told us, the Arsenal faithfuls, that, you know what, we'll be competing with the big leagues. We'll be competing with the PSGs, the Bayern Munichs. But I'm sorry, Jez, we haven't done that. We haven't done that. And there's been this excuse that, we don't have Champions League football, so we can't actually attract these players. Good and okay. Right now, we have Champions League football. Jez, why aren't these players begging Arsenal to come play for the football club right now?
Look, one of the greatest beliefs I have about this is when Arsenal first got in the Champions League for year in, year out, we had a certain manager who was well respected. And he went on to win titles, cups, won more FA Cups than any other manager in Arsene Wenger. And once he started on his journey at Arsenal, when Arsenal went knocking and we brought in some iconic footballers, because they wanted to come and play for Arsene Wenger. That is it.
Okay.
The attraction. The fact is,
Matt, I hope you're listening to this one. Jez is cooking. It's cooking.
Is the fact that who the hell wants to come and play for Mikel Arteta from Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, AC Milan, God knows who, because he's got no credence. He hasn't won anything. He fluked an FA Cup with a team that wasn't his. So he has no decent CV. The players, excuse me, we could go in for a player at Real Madrid. Oh, I forget. We did. We got Odegaard. And at the end of the day, who the hell wants to play for Mikel Arteta? He's not done jack shit. And that is a big, big point in football. You can go, right, I mean, you could go and offer to buy a player for 100 million, okay? I'm not going to name any names, but I'll just say 100 million pounds. And we offer them a massive amount of money. And they'll say, Yeah, okay. But who's the manager? Right, okay, I'll play for him. And within a season, you get rid of him because the bloke's down tools because of his arrogant attitude. Simple. The guy does not have the draw that big European international names will want to come for. You name me how many world-class players Arsenal will sign this transfer window. To win the Champions League, you have to have world-class
players all around the world.
45. The war chest is probably 200 million again. Right, okay, let's say we spend 100 million on Rice. That leaves 100 million to buy another 6 players. Nah.
That won't cut the mustard, man. Jez is spot on with that, man.
Spot on.
Arteta we have to understand this, and this is what people have to realize. The man is a novice. And that's not to take a slight at him. That's just the man is a novice. This is his first professional job. And so when you look at a manager like Arsene Wenger, Darren asked in the chat what Arsene Wenger got us over the line against Liverpool. Absolutely, because he read the game completely different. This manager, you know, we can just look at the track record over the last few years and look at the transfers. I don't count Kivio and I don't count Jesus because he already knew them coming from City.
Yeah.
What world-class player has he got over the line? Zero. Zilch. They said that we get in the Champions League, we're supposed to be able to go get all of these world-class players. But what do you see these world-class players doing? They're looking at other clubs. This is why I said, you know, possibly for me, I want us to win that title because then it adds a little bit of gloss, a little bit of fresh paint on the car, and you a little bit more attractive. But when you royally bottle the league, because see, we see it, that means that players see it, they see it too. And this whole Saliba ordeal, you know, Saliba, he mismanaged Saliba. The boy went out on loan, and instead of getting the deal over the line when he was out on loan, letting him know, young man, we're going to keep you here. We're just sending you over here to develop, but you are here. You are in the long-term plan. They let him come back, perform well, and not everybody wants him. So what happens when PSG knocks on the door? What happens when Real Madrid knocks on the door? Bayern Munich, Juventus, regardless of the fact, whatever trouble Juventus in, Juventus is still a big club. These clubs come to the door. What does Arsenal do? We dilly-dally around when it matters the most. We went to Reece Nelson 3 times. 1, 2, 3. 3 times. Reece Nelson 3 times. Oh my
God. That one tipped me over the edge. That one just
Reece Nelson,
that one just drove me down the road. You know, Reece Nelson, and we're going to a Champions League, football, or getting Champions League football next season. It's acrimonious for us to go to Reece Nelson and be begging him with contract.
Begging, Tony. We were on our hands and knees.
It doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't. It totally doesn't make any sense at all. He should be begging to stay at the football club.
That's how it should. That's exactly how it should be. We go to players. Tony, your perfect point. Players that should be begging us to stay at the club, we're begging them to stay. That's backwards. That's backwards logic. We should be going to get players that challenge every player in their position, if not better. I don't understand this notion that people, especially in world football, where people think, oh well, you can't go out and buy a player that's going to stump such and such development. Well, good. Let them battle it out. Let them fight. That's what we need. We need competition. We need competition at practice. We need to hear about bust-ups at practice. You hear about bust-ups all the time with the Invincible. Fighting at practice and pushing and shoving and stuff. When have you heard that about our club?
No fight. They're comfortable. And even players that have left the football club, they want to come back because it's so comfortable at Arsenal. Me and you, Matt, we're talking about Cedric.
Yeah,
Cedric wanted
sorry.
to come back to Fulham. He wants to come back at Arsenal. He's so comfortable. He's missed the couch. He's missed the feel-good moment. And now that Wayne the dog is down there, he wants in, on that feel-good moment in the training ground. And I'm sorry, I don't want that. Brahma, me and you have talked about this. We need warriors, Zulu warriors,
Zulu.
ready to die for that Arsenal shirt, ready to battle. Yeah, those are the kind of players that we need. Yeah, as I said, to ready to die on that pitch, to play for Arsenal. See, yeah, let me just give you an example now. Aaron Ramsdale, when he looks at the bench and look at who he's seeing there, he's calling us jokers, bunch of jokers. And with the hours upon hours he had this season, yeah, he's looking at that bench and saying, hey, there's actually no one to give me a competition out here. So I'm comfortable. I really want Arsenal to cut that culture of comfortability in that football club. Everyone is so comfortable. And even players that are out of the football club, they want in. They want to come back.
Yeah.
They want to come back because the money is good. The comfort is there. There is no push to win a title. I don't know what is going on with them. And guys in the chat, in case maybe you guys feel I'm a bit harsh, see, when we lost that title this season, it tipped me over the edge. I became angry. See, I lost a part of me when we just completely capitulated the season. That trophy belongs to us. When I saw Man City lifting that trophy, it hurt me. I shed a tear. I cried. Me and Brother Matt, we shared moments about this. When City was winning the title, and you text me, and you know what we talked about. Yeah, it was painful. It was very, very painful. Yeah, so it tipped me over the edge. Yeah, Jess Collins. See, the PR in the football club. Yeah, I want you to look into it. There was particularly one that really tipped me over the edge. Guys, don't get it wrong. I like Mikel Arteta as a person. I think he's a nice guy. Yeah, he's a nice person. But I'm thinking we need a change. I think we need a change. And I've brought in several big YouTubers down here. Last week, I brought in MCFC Daps here, a Man City fan. They're winning. They're doing okay. And I told him, he was saying, Arsenal should stick with Mikel Arteta. He learned from the best. Of course, who is Pep? The Southern Gunner, you were in the charts and you called him out on that. Yeah. He said, hey, it's ridiculous for us to call for his head. I brought in another guy from Manchester United, Traps Booming. He said the same thing. He said that we shouldn't be calling for the head of Mikel Arteta. And I asked this simple question. Jess, this question is for you because I'm scheming this so to get to understand what you think about this. And then I asked the question to these guys, to two of them. I said, will you take Mikel Arteta at your football club right now for the next 3 seasons for him to only win you an FA Cup and a Charity Shield? And do you know what they said? Brother Matt, you know what they said? They said no. And outright no. So why do you want Mikel Arteta to stay at the football club of your rivals? Yeah, of course you want him to be there to I don't know. I wouldn't say anything, right? But you're comfortable with him at the helms of the affairs at Arsenal, and Arsenal is the third most valuable club in the league, at least. Just Collins, what do you think about this? Rival fans are saying you don't have to call for the head of Mikel Arteta. What do you say about this?
Well, of course we have to call for his head. He's not going to take the club anywhere. And I totally agree with what you just said and Matt said. It's all too nice at Arsenal. It's so nice that we bought a dog. So everybody's happy at London Colney, at training. I don't want people to be happy. I want people fighting. Back in the days, we didn't have nice. You had people like Tony Adams and Steve Bowl, Dave O'Leary,
Warriors
skirmishes on the training ground, and you had people like Tony Adams holding up people by the throat in the bloody in the changing rooms because they weren't delivering. That is the problem. That is what you just said about Cedric Suarez coming back from Fulham. He didn't exactly rip up trees, did he? At Fulham. No, I don't want him back. And the fact remains, the PR, it is all PR process at Arsenal. And unfortunately, until the delusion fans, who there's so many of them, wake up and smell the coffee, this club will go absolutely nowhere. And, you know, it's always the thing, wasn't it? 2 seasons ago, people demonstrating, Kroenke out, Kroenke out, Kroenke out. What happened to that then? What happened? Coming second, acceptable. You know, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I fear, Tony, I really fear I don't see any change anytime soon, because we'll coast along on the crest of the waves, accepting mediocrity. I'll make this prediction to you. The only time Arteta will get turned on is this season if we get kicked out of the group stage of the Champions League. That will be the time the fans will start to turn. That's what happened to Wenger. Now, I was a Wenger out towards the end. I was, when he was first here, and he was a superb management. But in the end, I said, you've got to go, mate, and I want you to go gracefully. I don't want you sacked. I don't want you kicked out. I just want you to say, enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
And that's what happened in the end, because the only time Kroenke's decided was when the fans voted with their feet. They didn't turn up. The stadium was, only 2/3 full. And obviously it was hitting the pockets. And that's what the Kroenkes care about. They care about money. That's their whole life. That's the businesses they're in. And I respect them. And I'd be the same. If I owned Arsenal Football Club and the fans didn't turn up, you're losing revenue, you've got overheads, you have to say, well, something's got to change. And sadly, Tony, the fact remains is I don't see us doing great for transfer business in the summer. And I sadly have to say that we'll be stuck with a not strong enough squad, and we'll be going into another competition where we will just be embarrassed. We've seen how it happened, didn't we, in the last time we were in the Champions League? 5-1 Bayern Munich. Disgraceful embarrassment. And I don't honestly believe, mate, Arteta's the man to take us forward. And of course, to answer your question finally, of course, opposition fans of the big clubs want us to keep him because they know he ain't going to win jack all. So they want him.
I want to hit on something, Tony.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm starting to notice here with Mikel Arteta, is he does not like players that have a strong attitude. This team lacks players with strong attitude.
Strong attitude, right?
You know, a little flair about themselves, and
a little grit, a little fight.
Grit. Yeah. And look at the players that he tends to gravitate towards. And I've said this before. These are yes men. Yes. Everybody's yes men. Anybody, look at Emma Monroe. Anybody that does not get on board with whatever he wants, then he ostracizes them to the bench or he banishes them from the club, or he sends them out on loan. Look at how they did. Pepe, 72 with 70. This is what you try. You $72 million. This is a player, $72 million. But because Arteta sees it 72, he didn't spend, he can go. But the player cost $72 million. See, we've got to this year, Tony, will be the year. This will be it. I have this is it. That the excuses will have to stop. The hiding behind, the second place finish thing. I told people I'm not even acknowledging this second place anymore. I'm just starting to say we just qualified for Europe. That's all we did. Qualify for Champions League this year. Because you hadn't won anything, so that's all you did. Just qualify for the Champions. That's all you did. We're not playing for the Champions. We're not playing tomorrow. Yeah. So no need of saying second place anymore. Just say you qualify for Europe. Because that's what we did. And so next year, Tony, is put up or shut up. Put up or shut up.
It's put up or shut up. It's put up or shut up.
And you'll know when you look at the player that he brings in. Yeah. I'll say this and I'll turn it over to you. I'll say you're gonna know exactly. You hear me, Tony? Exactly where we're headed in this transfer window.
Fact, Matt. I just want to add to what Jez was saying about the PR going on in this football club, mostly with the board. Yeah, see, even we discussed this last week in your show when Warren Talks was on your show with me, Manny, and you, Matt Odom. You remember that show, right?
Yeah.
And it was talking about, this stuff he has put up together, calling for the head of the Cronkies, to leave the football club, and again, we're talking about the PR that's in effect, in the football club. When they wanted to give Eddie Nketiah a new contract, they gave him the number 14 shirt. That number 14 shirt, it's a very important shirt. The person wearing that number, it's supposed to be outside having a statue. Yeah. And actually, we gave him that number. Yeah. And there's this PR spin that went into it. Oh, it's just a number. You remember when they're saying, oh, it's just a number. It's just a number. It will help him. It will. And where is all that help? He couldn't even score goals this season. He couldn't even score up to 5 goals this season.
I was just going to say he's wearing 14, but can't score 14 goals.
Bro, see, at the end of the season in the game against Wolves, can you guys count how many times, the camera went to Mikel Arteta, the best-looking Spaniard I know? Like, did you guys watch that? The camera caught that inscription, that banner, up to nearly 6-7 times, in the whole match, Who cares how the guy looks like? Who cares if it's the most prettiest coach, in the room? It's not what I want to see. I want to see titles. That's what concerns me. Not about how pretty someone is, how pretty the coach is. It's not what I want. So you see, the PR in this football club, it's the highest. I don't think any football club in the Premier League have the kind of PR system, the kind of PR machine, the kind of matrix that Arsenal have. We got it. It's the best. Right now, there's the news out there that we have £200 million to spend. They're going to give it to Mikel Arteta. That's the PR in effect. Who told you that the money is that? The football club hasn't told us that they have this money to give to the manager. The PR that is why I looked at Warren Talks and I pitied him that day when he was talking about it, because I genuinely saw what he wanted. He wants the football club to grow. But I'm sorry, you can't fight against this machine. It's a well-oiled machine. And that machine, They come with swords. They have the swords. Yeah. They have the brown envelopes passing everywhere. Yeah. They have the seasoning by the mat. They have the seasoning.
It's
Yeah.
a buffet,
They have the
a
oil
buffet.
to fry the fish. It's everywhere. It's
Yeah.
everywhere. They have it. So it's a big problem. It's a big problem for us because this PR spin, yeah, it's coming at the detriment of the football club. And that's why we have garbage right now in that football club in terms of the players that can't even be sold. Can you imagine we can't even get 5 million? Just 5 million for Pepe, our record signing.
Record signing.
Just 5 million. 5 million. Just 5 million. Granit Xhaka is being priced for 25 when we can actually get 45 for this guy. Yeah?
If it was that City,
that's already out of the football club in Man City. Yeah. They're saying, hey, you have to give us 50 million. 50 million. And this guy wants out of the football club. But you know what? Yeah, Man City are going to get 50 million for the guy, for Cancelo. Then we get it. But why is it that Arsenal, yeah, this PR thing? See, Matt, what do you have to say about this Arsenal PR?
Well,
and do you think it's going to affect our signings this summer?
When you look at the machine, you know, there's two ways to beat it. Well, one in particular is just said earlier, vote with your feet. That's one of the easiest ways. But we know that ain't happening. They had a protest and only 14 people showed up to it. You know, so I know that ain't, and that's not going to work. The second is, you know, you have to take these losses, man. You can't hide the ugly when it gets ugly. And I'm mighty afraid. I think this year's going to get ugly. Yeah. But when you look at the PR machine and you see, you know, worn jersey sales, you know, that's eBay stuff. That's stuff you see on eBay and Etsy and Amazon half price and, you know, stuff like that, you know. But then your football club is doing it. That's when you know it's out of control. Out of control. Team worn jerseys. And then not even legends. They're not even like Bergkamp or Saul Campbell or Tony Adams, you know, Stapleton, you know, giants of the team. No. These are just hand-me-downs from, you know, we'll just give you just Jesus, well, lost at Chelsea or lost here, you know, this, you know, just anything to try to make a dollar. Anything. Buying dogs and stuff. I said, if you got money to spend on a damn dog, you got money to spend on transfer. If you got money to spend on a dog, you got money to spend on transfer. I just told you we put $70 million on the table for Caicedo, so I know it's $70 million there. We know that. That is a fact. We know $70 million is on the table. We know that. You can go to count how much Lee, Jazz, what was it that Lee said about these jersey sales? It's the number one selling jersey in the club's history or something along that line.
One is the fastest selling jersey.
Fastest selling jersey. So you multiply 80 times however many jerseys were sold, knock off 40%, and then there you go your number. You got money to spend. I don't want to hear this about Arsenal ain't got money to spend. It's where we're spending the money. We're buying we're buying more and more Kiviors instead of buying world-class players, and then we're turned around, they're spending it. Oh, well, this is for the future. Get behind the team, judge us in May. It's the same thing over and over and over and over. This is why. This is how you know they have reprogrammed. They have programmed some of the fan base. They're drones. I told you, they're like drones. It's like yeah, like AI. You touch the button and then they just immediately do whatever you want them to do. Yeah, it's like Terminator. They Skynet. They've turned around. They programmed. They said, "Hey, we got the new jersey out on the last day. Come on down to the Armory. Get the jersey." They were packing it in. Did you see it? Did you see the pictures of the Armory that they were packing in? It was like Black Friday. They were fighting over jerseys and people trying to get in there. We got to get this. We got to get the Schalke jersey. He's leaving today. Let's get Then they paying the crowd. And I just remember sitting on Lee's fan cast. And I said, "Well, Leo, are they crowd surfing?" And it looks and they're crowd surfing like it's at Woodstock 75. I mean, it's unbelievable. And then they pan out wide. And then they zoomed in, Tony. They zoomed in on this one sister. This one sister they had both. She said, "Granted, don't leave us.
We love you.
I saw that, Jez, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
I'm dealing with this. Hey, I'm dealing with that on Saturday. On Sunday on my show, I am dealing with that with the Yorkshire Guard. We're gonna deal with this on Sunday.
Oh, we're gonna deal with that. Yeah, we'll bring
this is
straight
crazy.
right in.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Right in. Jez, yeah, you saw what happened. Yeah, it was a caricature. See, I wasn't pleased with what happened on the final day. Yeah, we beat Wolves 5-0. It was a good score, but where was those performances when we didn't need them? Where was those performances at home when we needed to beat Southampton? Where was those performances when we needed to beat Brighton? At home, nowhere else, yeah? Not away matches, at home, yeah? Where was those performances? And I'm sorry, yeah, we didn't get those performances. So that 5-0 meant nothing to me. It was actually a sad day for me. I didn't even do a watch along. That's how crazy that day was. But Jez, yeah, what will you say about the PR going on? And then we go, yeah, when other teams are identifying players to get in the summer, we go and get Win the Dog. And listen, Jez, to have a feel-good moment in the training ground. Jez, do you subscribe to all of this? Do you subscribe to Win the Dog coming into the football club, enjoying the perfect PR that it's getting right now? Yeah, is that the way you want this football club to be run in this perfect PR spin?
No. Let's get it right. The dog's name is Winless. That's his real. I'm sorry. I just find it totally embarrassing that a club like Arsenal go out and buy a bloody dog. I mean, I don't know how true this is. I mean, I'm led to believe it's fact that we got this dog from an Arsenal fan. He was passing away. I'm just saying. I mean, apparently the guy that owned the dog is an Arsenal fan who was passing away, so Arsenal adopted the dog. I mean, really? Isn't there more important things to worry about than adopting a dog? Yes. Let's talk about the last game of the season.
We should be adopting Gnabry right now. We should be adopting Sadio Mane right now. I know the people to adopt. The plan is easy. Go and adopt Vlahovic. Go and adopt Caicedo. Bring them into the football club. Those are the guys to adopt to Arsenal Football Club. And let's fry the bigger fish. Yeah, the bigger fish. The Champions League. How about that? I want to win the Mickey Mouse Cup. I want to win the FA Cup. How about that? Why can't we go and adopt these players? Why? Jess, please. I'm sorry, man. When it comes to this thing, it tips me over the edge. I'm sorry to cut in there, man.
It's lack of ambition. It's purely, basically, this is just a game to the senior management at the end of the day. They're quite happy in their roles of directors. They're getting their dividends. They're getting paid. They don't give a damn about what's happening. I mean, we still have that absolute clown director, Lord Peckham. What does he actually bring to the club? Nothing. Nothing at all.
Literally.
So the embarrassment factor to me was when I saw that woman, "Oh, don't go, Xhaka, we love you." Oh, really? Were you there? Were you at Crystal Palace? Were you at Crystal Palace? I was there when he disrespected me as a fan. And there was a lot of Arsenal fans there, probably 2,500, 3,000. And that is disrespect. And that's the reason I can't stand the bloke. Although I've given him credit this season because he had a great season. One season in 7 does not make him an Arsenal legend.
Oh my God. Are we calling it legend now? Oh my God. Are we putting it in that bracket right now? Oh my God.
People are calling. And the other thing that grinds me up is the fact that that stupid bloody banner. Arteta, the best looking Spaniard we know. I tell you what,
For her, that
if
one.
I went there into that part of the stadium, right, I'd cut that bloody thing down.
I'm right there with you, Jez. Snatch it down. Snatch it.
I know Jess would take that. Oh man, he will rip it off that wall.
I'll cut it down and I'll cut it into pieces because that is an absolute embarrassment. Whoever put that out there is an absolute bloody clown.
Oh,
and the fact that we had people surfing, crowd surfing, dancing up and down. Oh, we've come second. Brilliant. Well done. What have you won? Tell me. Right, I'm going to see if anybody in the chat, without cheating, who came second in the Premier League 10 years ago? Can you remember? I can't. I can't. So are we going to be remembered in 10 years' time? I doubt it. I don't know off the top of, I honestly don't know off the top of my head 10 years ago who came second in the Premier League. I don't know. So what have we actually achieved? What have we done? Oh, we got in the Champions League. Brilliant. Excellent. I'm happy. I'm looking forward to it. Are we going to invest in the club, in the team? No. Not to the level we need, sadly. But I mean, Darren's just put it there. Was it Arsenal? No, I don't think it was. I might be wrong. I don't know.
Let's go find it.
I don't know. Because nobody remembers coming second, third, fourth. It's coming second, third, fourth means you've won nothing.
City. That's what it was. It was City. We were in fourth as usual.
But please, because of course we will soon be coming to the end of the show, but not right now, because we still have some bigger fish to fry. We still have to talk about Saliba, about cutting that check. Brother Matt, you said something on your review, cut that check. See, should they be cutting that check for Saliba? Is holding the club accountable right now. See, it's telling the football club, see, I was the one keeping your title challenge on hold. I left and the club capitulated. Pay me the money. I need 300 right now. Give me that money. See, Brother Matt, will you be giving him a bumper contract right now? Would you be telling the Arsenal board to cut that check right now? What do you have to say, Brother Matt Adam?
The check must be cut. Why would you not pay the man? It's going to cost you more money if he leaves. Think about that. Tony, it's going to cost more money to get a player of his caliber. And then ask yourself, do you trust this regime to get a player of his caliber? That's the question that needs to be asked here. No. There's a run. Now correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. Jay, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Tony, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Arteta and Edu did not buy Saliba, correct? Saliba was here already, correct?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Once again, what do we see here? Do we see a pattern? All of the players that are quality that were not here, that were here when Arteta was not here, are slowly finding their way out the door. There's a pattern here. There's a pattern. True. This fella here is quality, man. You know how hard it is to find one position in Premier League football you can't screw up is your center, your defense. You cannot screw it up. That's what you have. You have to have that intact. Pay the man the money. Them going to the table with $120 million after he looked over across the aisle and saw Eddie Nketiah getting $100,000. What? He's getting on $100,000.
Knuckleheads getting 100, and you want to put him at par with him. It's horrible. Yeah. It's a horror show.
Yeah, you got PSG ready to cut a check for $250. They are ready to go because they're going to sign him to a long-term deal. Easy.
300,
easy. They'll probably have him locked up for about 6-7 years with a $500 million buyout clause. Arsenal are the only club that I tell you we do the most stupidest stuff I've ever seen. Y'all knew y'all wanted the guy back. If you knew you wanted the guy, you should have signed him up when he was over there in France. Put him on the add extra. It would have been cheaper, Tony. It would have been cheaper to get the deal done when he was in France. Because at that time he probably would have took $50,000 or $60,000 a week. Now he knows he's come back to the Premier League.
He knows his worth.
He knows his worth. There you go. He knows his worth. He ain't stupid. And what do we do? We're gonna go there, we're gonna haggle, and eventually we're gonna sell. And it's gonna and that right there should show people where we are. To let a player, I'm trying not to call him world class, but the boy is so good, man, that you've got
I'm
Tony.
sorry, he's world class.
Let me put this in perspective.
Let me put this injury and then the whole goddamn title capitulates. He's world class.
Let me put this in perspective, gentlemen. What does Mikel Arteta like to do with his defenders? He likes to play out of the back, right? Here's a man that can do it to the best of his ability. This is a man that can literally defend. He's quick. He's good in the air. He can pass out of the back. He can spot a pass from one end of the pitch to the other one. He does everything you need. And you're not willing to put the money on the table to keep the man. This is why I have no faith in this regime. None. Because you can't even get stuff like this done. And it's an embarrassment that Arsenal moves like this. It's an embarrassment. It's an absolute embarrassment.
Jets, should Arsenal be cutting that check for William Saliba? Should we be saying, hey, my friend, you were the pillar of our title challenge last season. Please come and sign this deal. Come on to us. We have Champions League football. This is your home. We believed in you. We're giving you this contract, a bumper contract. Should they be cutting the check for William Saliba? Jets?
Of course. Absolutely. He's proved his value. I think the only problem we're going to have with this is the disrespect he had for 2.5, 3 seasons. And we're going to have the big boys in for him. Man City are going to look at him. PSG, God knows who else, Bayern Munich. And we're going to have a major challenge for him. And if we lose him, then who else we're going to get to replace him? Because that's somebody else of quality that we've got to replace. And it's another problem. This is where we leave everything too late. We leave it right to the last minute, and it then puts us in to a bad position. And this is where I blame the management. They are not capable of running a football club. You don't see the likes of Man United, Man City, Chelsea. At the end of the day, they get in and they get their deals done, and they keep hold of the players that they particularly want. Now, it's an interesting one, isn't it? What Man United are doing, they're looking to offload Maguire, and they're looking to offer him 10 million to get out. Because he's just not good enough for the job at their club. I don't think he's anywhere. He was never worth the money they paid for him personally, but that was the deal at the time, and Man United paid it. But at the end of the day, guys, I've got to bounce in a minute, but
yeah, we'll be closing the show together because we've come to the end of it, so we'll close together.
I'm just going to say, my prediction is this. Okay, this is my prediction for the January transfer window.
Guys, you're hearing it here first.
We're going to lose a few players. I think Tierney will be gone. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we lost Saliba. I don't want Cedric Suarez back, but I would not be at all surprised if Saliba went. We brought him back as the replacement. Rob Holding needs to go, just not good enough. And we then have a big hole. Nketiah can go. He is just not good enough. And I'm not one of these people that will stand there and say, I always had the 14 shirt and all this and all that. Because at the end of the day, it's just a shirt. It's a number. You know, I'm not a believer of any of that. I respect people that do. Great. And fair play to you. But it's not for me. He can go. He's rubbish. And I think he may go because it's quite obvious that Arteta's looked and seen his bloody awful performances and said, you ain't it, son. You just aren't it. You ain't the levels. But again, poor management, people, poor management, offering him 100 grand a week. He hasn't delivered 5 goals all season. All right. Towards the latter part, he didn't get the starts. Okay. But he's just not good enough. He can go. He is championship level. Fact. We need to invest. Will we invest to the depth? Matt, Tony, will we? No. We're proven. And the Champions League, I honestly will say this, the Champions League will where we will be shown up, and that is where Edu, Arteta, Garlic Head, Vinay will be seen as the problem, and that's when they will be sacked.
Jez, please, just one more question for you, please. Which areas do we need strengthening right now? Which areas do we need immediate strengthening right now, off the mark immediately?
Striker, attacking midfielder. If Xhaka goes, we need another CDM. But although he's played attacking midfielder really this year, hasn't he? We need another left back, right back, centre back, goalkeeper, and I would also say we need to strengthen in the position of another central midfielder to back up Odegaard. He'll stay. So I'm looking at 6 to 7 players. We won't get 7 players. We won't. All right, everybody's picking it up that we've got Balogun coming back. Great, he's had a great season. Fantastic, brilliant, happy. That's in the French league. Will he be any good in the Premier League? It's a totally different game.
Different game.
We'll see. We will see. But don't hold your breath.
We'll see. Yeah, sure. Matt, please just give us the predictions of what will happen this weekend. Manchester United, Man City FA Cup final.
City's probably gonna win this 3-1. I would like for United to win, but realistically, City's probably gonna win that game 3-1.
City's gonna win that. Jez, see, if Man City win this treble, yeah, does it trump Alex Ferguson's treble that he won for Manchester United? In your own idea?
No, I don't think so. No. I'll give you my prediction of that game.
Okay.
I'm going to go 2-2 extra time penalties.
And who wins in the penalties?
Man City.
Man City wins, yeah. So it seems like they're going to win the treble this season, yeah. Please, Matt Odom, shout out your channel, please, before we go to Jez. So shout out his channel, and then we close the show.
All right. Tony, thank you, Jez. Great seeing you today, brother. You can follow me at the Southern Gooner. This Sunday, I've got a special guest joining me. I've got the Yorkshire Gunner will be joining me on Sunday morning. And we'll be talking about the delusional fan base. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be one that's going to probably get people talking. But we're going to talk about the delusion in the fan base, and it needs to be rooted out. As Jez call it, the cancer that's in the fan base. So we'll be talking about that. The cancer. Yep. So we'll talk about that. And that's it, man. And then, of course, next week, we'll get together on the transfer show and
and then
Yeah.
we'll start almost kind of wind it down. I've got one more show after that, and then it'll just be transfer stuff with you.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. The same thing. This is the season finale of Real Talk. It remains Digi Sports Real Talk. The Minority Report, or tomorrow. I'll be having the season finale of that one. So, guys, join us. Jez, please shout out your channel. Tell us about the Arsenal history and more. And just talk to the people and say your goodbyes. And of course, Jez, from this channel, from everyone that works here. Because you've been part of, this year with us. On behalf of everyone, I want to wish you a happy birthday, and thanks for being here with me always. Jez, big ups to you. Respect to you, sir.
Well, Tony, thanks once again, mate, for inviting me on. Your channel, you do great stuff. I watch it avidly. I don't always do it live because I can catch you on sometimes we'll catch up, but
You always do.
It's always full of content, and thank you very much once again. Arsenal history and more. Nearly on the 4K, nearly, and so thank you everybody that subscribed and everything like that. What's going to happen? I'm going to be doing transfer stuff a bit. I'm going to be doing more of the history stuff because I've got people nagging me. I haven't done it for too long, for a long while. And I'm going to be doing live shows with, I'm going to get just general chat about Arsenal as we progress through the summer months, etc. I'm going to do some shows, get people on. One of them will be to talk about your favourite Arsenal players over through history. So anybody's welcome to come on that. That'll be probably a call-in show so people can say, oh, my favourite player was X, Y, Z. Yeah, all that sort of stuff. But Tony, man, thank you very much for inviting me on once again.
Yeah, thanks. On that note, guys, catch me on Digi Sports season finale, the Minority Report. The Tottenham Van Helsing is coming to town tomorrow to make mouths and flap his gums about Tottenham Hotspurs. Will they win the league next season? Will they win the? Okay, they are not in Europe next season, so come and watch the Tottenham Van Helsing, the Arsenal Slayer tomorrow, guys. Don't miss that one for a thing. 8 p.m. Tomorrow. Join us. Jess, thanks for coming to the show. Salton Gunner, I can't wait for next week, brother. I can't wait for next week. Guys, big ups.